Good morning. Welcome to the Bond Sunday morning services. Thank you so much for being with me. I absolutely appreciate it. You could get involved by calling 800-411-2663, 800-411-BOND, or email church@bondinfo.org, church@bondinfo.org, and put your name in town on your emails. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm glad you guys showed up. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to vote Tuesday. And at the end of this meeting, we're going to talk about that. I forgot to mention that. But I'm not telling you who to vote for, but make sure you get out and vote. But if you don't know what's going on, do not vote. Right? I don't want people voting and they don't know what's going on, because I have to suffer the price of that. Any questions about last Sunday or anything before we get rolling here? I have an email that I'm try and respond to. Any questions from last Sunday? Anybody had a life this week?
Yep.
No? Nobody had a life? No issues? Yes, sir.
Well, let's just say I always try to at least keep an open mind on what on everything that have to commit myself in doing every week. And if there's anything that if there's something that I need to learn, at least I pray I have the patience to learn it. If there's nothing in that I need to learn, I just pray that I learn to at least be patient until that comes.
Yeah, good. Because if you don't have patience, you don't have love, you have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely true. I spoke at this week. I was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I spoke on Thursday and Friday to an audience of about maybe 400 or so at a conference, and there were all races there, but mostly white Americans. And one of the questions that was asked of me is, because I kept telling white Americans that they need to be of courage, they need to speak up, they need to speak the truth to black Americans, they need to tell the truth. And so people were asking me, but what is the truth? Are you saying quote the Bible to them? What do you mean by tell the truth? And then I said, well, are you afraid to speak up to black Americans? Most of them say yes, they are afraid. And so I said to them, well, it's that truth you need to start dealing with. Because in that moment, a discussion is happening, you need to be honest about it. And the truth is not something that you can prepare to say. You have to wait for the moment to speak the truth. But what I realized from that is that so many people are into learning the Bible that they think they don't know that the truth is in our hearts, and that in the moment God is with you with that truth, and that is the truth you should speak, whatever the issue may be. But they're kind of lost if they're not able to just quote the Bible in the moment. And God has written the truth in our hearts. It's in our hearts. And we should, if we are born again of Him, we're guided by that truth. And so, but you can never ever plan what you're going to say. That's why over the last 20 years, I've never written a speech. And when I do interviews and things like that, I just want to know what subject you want to talk about. But I wait and see so that the truth can be spoken on that. But if you don't know the truth is in your heart and you're not discover that truth and living from that truth, then you will be afraid. Because if you don't have the Bible with you and you can't quote scriptures, you'll be afraid to speak up. But it's in our heart, and most people have not found that in the heart. Isn't that sad? To be a Christian and not discover the truth in your heart? It's as though there's a belief that God is great and good and that He loves us, but not enough to equip us. And it just doesn't make sense that the God who is of truth will only put the truth in a Bible, in a book. And now you got to carry this book around in order to live and function. Somebody asks you something, you got to say, well, 1 John chapter 3, verse 8 said, blah, blah, blah. You should be able to speak to that issue right then and there with truth. And most people, I'm saddened. I don't feel sorry for people, but it's sad to see that most Christians are not awake. They have not awakened. They're guided by the Bible. And then when they see me speaking, they say, wow, there's something different about you. There's something special. I can see that you're a little different than everybody else. But then when I try to tell them what it is, how I got there, what it is, they reject it. Some do, most do, some don't. But they reject it because they're so conditioned the other way. That the Bible is the Word of God, and that's it. There's no more to it, But God's Word is life. It's a living thing. And so it's constantly living and giving you life and giving you understanding because it's the living Word. And people got to find that in their hearts so that they can move by it and live by it and trust that. The devil words are living words too, but they kill you. They bring on distress and worry and doubt because you got to listen to one of the words, one or the other. You'll listen to one or the other. The one that brings doubt and worry are the ones that give you life and hope. That makes sense?
Yes, sir.
So it is written in the heart. If you have no more questions, I'm going to read this email, and we got to help the young lady. Yes, sir.
Could you expand a little bit more on the living truth in the moment? And they're both living. The devil's truth is, or the lies are living, and the...
One of the ways, the primary way, I believe, the right way to live the living Word is to become a non-judgmental person, a non-decision-making person, where you could just walk by faith and not by sight. People who make decisions are walking by sight. They're deciding right and wrong, good and evil, right versus wrong, right? But people who live by faith are just living by faith, living by what they can see and not judging what's going on. Not even about what they can see, because when you see it, you see that it's right. But if you want to know what the living Word is like, you got to give up judging good and evil in any form, any aspect of your life. You got to be able to just see it. And you're going to see the reality of what's going on and deal with it, but you got to resist that temptation of the devil telling you that's bad, that's good, that's evil, that's that. When you hear that voice telling you that, omit it. But when you can see it for yourself, you also see what to do about it. The voiceless voice is the one that you want to live by.
So the Bible is like dead, or it's old?
Oh, the Bible is just a roadmap back to the truth in your heart. The Bible, the living Word is in your heart. It's written in your heart, and the Bible tells you that. It would be like me writing down right now, this week I'll write a book that says, the living Word is in your heart. The Word been made flesh. Here's how you get there. You sit still and pray. You don't need to whimper, whine, and beg, and hoop and holler. Make sure you get up every morning early. Seek Him early so you can find Him. And be still and know Him. Before you enter into this living Word, you got to forgive. And I'll hand that out to you. That's not the living Word. That's just the Word to tell you where to find it. But the problem is people are putting the Bible as the living Word, and it's just an instruction book. If you really see the Bible the way it is, it just tells you what to do, what not to do. Here's what happened to John Doe when he did this. Here's what happened to John Doe when he did that. Don't do these things, and here's why. When you do good, this will happen. When you do wrong, this will happen. But the people have taken it and just totally omitted the living Word in their heart. They have mentioned it, but they have no relationship with it. And I find that a whole lot of folks don't have that relationship with it. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't be able to stand here and tell you about it because I wouldn't know it either. I wouldn't know how to do it, live that way if it wasn't working already in my life. Because most people don't believe that that's possible. How do you tell someone, okay, stop judging, period? Don't judge anything as right or wrong. And while at the same time you have your mind working overtime doing exactly that. And it sounds like your voice, and it looks like what this person is doing is wrong, and it is wrong, but you can't judge it. Because when you judge, you become God. And when you become God, you're separated from the true God to be your own God. And so how do you tell people to live that way, you know? It's interesting. Because it's spiritual, you cannot give it up yourself. Of yourself, you could do nothing. But it was taken away from me by allowing me to see in this other manner. Because that is what the mind would do. Okay, I got to give up judgment. And now you're out there working overtime trying not to judge. I'm not going to judge that. And the devil's like, you'll lie. You see, you're judging it. Even that is judgment. It's a voiceless discernment that you live by. It's just a seeing, and in seeing you know what's right and wrong. It is so nice too. I wish I could give it to you, but of ourselves we could do nothing. It has to happen. It's a spiritual thing that takes place. You can't make it happen on your own. But no, I didn't give it up myself. I didn't know you could give it up. It was just taken away from me by allowing me to see when the temptation comes to do it. Because the devil will tempt you. Somebody asked, does the devil tempt you when you, quote unquote, enter into the kingdom? Yes. But you can see him, you know the difference between the two voices. That voice that you hear is of the devil. The one that's judged for you, makes you feel like you're judging, and all that kind of stuff. But this other quiet voice is just annoying. You just kind of know. And it's not like a knowing that you hear the word a knowing, you hear the words. It's not even like that. It's like a revelation or something. You realize something. In every area of life, that has to operate. It operates in that manner as needed. And so when the devil talks to you, you now know that's not the voice. Without even saying it, you just know because you know this other voice. The Bible says that my children shall know my voice. But most Christians don't know God's voice because if they did, they wouldn't listen to this voice in their head, in their imagination. You think, feel, and act. But in this discernment, there is no thinking or feeling. And even when you see a person wrong, you feel nothing about that person being wrong. It doesn't feel personal to you. You're not angry at them for being that way. You almost have a sense of compassion for them because you realize that they cannot see. And it has nothing to do with you. It's all about them. They are having that issue. Even though they may try to hurt you with their issue, you still know that it's not them. And that way you don't have any feelings about it. Isn't that something? At this talk, there was a black woman who meant well. She meant well. She wasn't mean and nasty. But in my talk, I said that most black men isn't worth a dime. Had I not been standing in the pulpit, I would use another D word. Can you think of what that is, honey? But, and so she said later, you could have said that a little differently. You just hurt every black man in the audience's feelings. When you said most black men are not worth a dime. And she said, had I been up there and given that same talk, I would have embraced everybody. I would have just embraced them. Christians are supposed to embrace. I'm like, get behind me, Satan. You're not supposed to embrace. You're supposed to tell the truth without judgment. And then those who are seeking the truth will hear and receive it. And those who hate the truth will run for the hills. And those are the ones God is trying to reach. Those that are seeking the truth. And everybody, most people, will not find the truth. And so if you embrace everybody, all you're doing is keeping everybody in hell. Loving them with a false love, never setting them free. And then one lady said to her, "You sound like a liberal." And she did, a Christian liberal. But it's not about embracing, it's about telling the truth in order to set people free. Can you imagine Christ going around embracing? Let me just embrace you. And you embrace the devil and everybody all piled up, and the devil end up destroying you. But there is a mind, renewing of the mind. See, we are a living being. We have a little bit of God's nature in us, and it has a mind too. And so when you repent and enter into the kingdom of heaven within, you start living from that living being source, and you start to renew that mind and live from that, and then getting overcoming the old mindset, which is of the devil. That mindset that is wicked to the core. It deceives you in every area of life because it's a selfish way of living. And so it appears to be that there are two mindsets. And so that's why God said that we have to renew our minds from within. And that's the one that you discover once you wake up, once you enter in and wake up. And that awareness is above all awareness, because everything else is seen to be unaware. It's interesting. Isn't that interesting? But you know what's more interesting about that is that I have sense enough to see that. It's weird because most of you guys in here are smarter than I am. If we took a test, a 2+2 test, I would fail. I barely got my driver's license this last time.
Oh, no.
Seriously. But for some reason, this other inner knowing, not for some reason, for God's reason, it is just much better, greater, it's simple, it's simpler, it's easier, it's freeing up, it's everything. It's everything. But I love it, and it's the more you let go of this mindset of the voice that you hear without, then you'll discover this. I'm telling you, it's about letting go. I know people, well, let me take you, I won't get into that. Yes.
I was going to say that I think God wants us to read the Bible and, like he says, meditate on it to get it from our mind to our heart.
No. And you've been taught that. You can't read the Bible and meditate on the words of the Bible and get it in your mind, because all it would do is fill your head with the knowledge of good. And so then you operate from the knowledge of good and the knowledge of evil, and you'll make judgments based on the words that you put in your head.
I don't do that. If I read the Bible, I just absorb God. I don't judge it. I just absorb it.
But I totally know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I've been through that. But you're really not. You've just been told that you are. The way you worship God in spirit and in truth is that you got to enter into the spirit and live from it. And it's already there, and you're not supposed to take the words of the Bible and memorize them in your head, because it builds your ego. You know what I mean? You're supposed to read it and let it go in one ear and out the other one. And then God would do the rest, because all he's doing, it would be like taking the road map and just filling your head with the road map. And then after your trip is done, you still remember the map. And that would become a headache. And so when you build your imagination with knowledge, all you're doing is building a headache. He doesn't want you to hold on to knowledge. He wants knowledge to come and go and leave wisdom. He wants you to live by wisdom. But a lot of Christians do think that because the preacher told them, fill your head with the Bible, remember the scriptures, and then you just absorb God, but you don't. Those people who are doing that, they're still sinning. They still have fear. They have doubt. They have worry. Nothing has changed. And now their heads are filled with the knowledge of good and evil.
Then why does God say meditate on my scriptures day and night?
He wants you to be conscious of him, but he doesn't mean like
Truly.
Right. He doesn't mean like meditate, like sit there and think about 1 John chapter 2 said,
Yeah.
jump over the ocean.
No, I don't
If
mean
you
that.
decide
I
to
just
take the
mean
notion.
reading it and letting God speak to you from it after you read it.
Right.
And just-
Oh, that doesn't work either. Because it implies that you have to do something.
But it doesn't he give us his word for us to read it?
He gave it to you as an instruction guide of where to find his word.
Okay. So we still have to read it though in order to find his word.
You have to, and the reason that you have to is because the parents are weak, the fathers are weak. But if the fathers were men of God because they are Christ on earth, that's another interesting story about that. Remind me to come back to the father thing.
Okay.
I gotta tell you about this story about this woman. When I was at this event, and I run into this all the time, these two couples who meant well, and thank you couples for doing it. A man and a woman came over to me and they had on Jesus is Lord shirts and that kind of stuff. And what they do is pray for people. So they came over and they said, you know, I really like what you had to say. We want to pray for you. We go around the country praying for people and we want to pray for you. I said, okay, thank you, I appreciate it. And so I'm thinking they're going to walk away and pray for me later because I had a long line of folks that were trying to talk to me, right? And they're like, well, can we pray for you now? I'm like, oh, well, let me deal with these people first. So we finally got to their prayer thing. And so the man prayed, and then after that I thought we would be done. And then the wife said, well, can I pray for you too? I'm thinking, did you pray while he was praying? Because I sure was. But, and so I said, yeah, go ahead. And so she prayed for me too. And so after she prayed, we said amen, finally. So she laid her hands on my head and everything. And then she said, oh, I have one little question for you. One little question. And you said it yesterday, you also mentioned it again today. You said that there's God in Christ, Christ in man, man over woman, woman over children. You talked about that spiritual order. Are you saying, and she said, well, I accept the fact that my husband is the head of the house. You know, like, that's exactly how she was doing it too. I accept the fact my husband is the head of the house. No. I said, but no, your husband is not the head of the house. Your husband is the head of you. And then she said, so are you saying that I can't get to God unless I go through my husband? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. She's like, so, but the Bible says this, the Bible says that. And I said, but if you're married, that order is there. You got to follow that order. You can't go around your husband. But yes, I can. Why can't I go around him? I'm like, you just prayed for me. You don't even understand the order? Yeah. She said, well, but you said that. And the husband stood back, and I could see his little smile that I was dealing with his wife. So I made him say something. I'm like, well, do you disagree with this husband? He was like, I absolutely agree with you, sir. You're absolutely right, but she's not getting that. And then another guy jumped in. He's like, he's absolutely right. A lot of men won't say this, but if you're married, you got to go through your husband. Just don't hate your husband even if he's weak. You still got to go through him because that's the order. But that woman, after her prayers, she could not accept that order. And then I made it clear to her, so as another guy did too, is that if you're not married, then you can go to God. You don't have to go around anybody. You can go through God. But I was thinking, it's amazing how this woman going around praying for people and she doesn't believe in the order of God. Isn't that amazing? But that's what reading the Bible and the preachers have taught, and their lives are not working. So I said to her in closing, I said to her, you know, if you want to accept this order and understand it, you got to forgive your father and mother. I said the only reason you don't want to be under your husband is because you hate men. And the husband was like, yeah, that's right. And she was like, I don't hate men. She was like, yeah, you do, honey. You hate your father and your mother. Your mother is a... And he was going off. She was like, my mother's not that bad. I said, look, it's not a put down. We gotta deal with reality so we can get in that order of God. And so it's not wrong to see that you hate your mother. It's wrong to hate her and not deal with her and your father. Because if you loved your father and you were married to a good man, you would have no problem with that order, none whatsoever. And she didn't want to admit that she had this issue with her parents, but her husband, bless his soul, he would not let her get away with it. But that's another reason women don't want to accept that order, because they hate men. They see men, they hate men. And no one want to be under someone that they don't respect or hate. And that's what the issue was. They know the Bible, they got the word, they're meditating on the words, but they don't accept God's order.
And if you think about it, God is so awesome to do that, because he's
Yes.
building up the man and giving him respect, and you can relax because the man is responsible for the family.
That's right. Isn't that a nice position to be in?
It is.
It's like getting up every morning and not have to go to work.
Exactly. Just
I can relax because somebody's gonna feed me, pay my bills, gonna watch over me spiritually, gonna guide me in the right way to go. What more can you ask for? And that's what it feels like, if there is a feeling with this thing. That's what it feels like when you enter into the kingdom of heaven. Like, I can give up now and just live because I got my Father, and I recognize my Father taking care of me. So you don't have to be afraid, you don't have to worry, and you're okay with that order. But a lot of women don't accept that. And that's why they're suffering, and the husbands are afraid to tell them in many cases. A lot of times when I'm on the road, these husbands make me tell their wives what they're afraid to tell them. And then they'll stand over there and go, yeah, that's right. But they don't have Christian men, and they don't have the courage to do it themselves. Isn't that amazing? And they know the word, they meditate on the word, but they still don't have the courage. Now I forgot what I told you to help me to remember.
Go back to the father's thing.
What about the Father?
You said just remind you to go back, talk about the father. It sounds like you dealt with it in your.
Yeah, I probably did.
Yeah. But if you just stand back and forget your ego as a woman and look at what God blesses you with,
Yes.
a husband that'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Stop fighting it and just let it go.
Yeah.
And let,
What it is, women have, and not all, but most. They have to get over this unconsciousness of, they have a jealousy of man's relationship with God. When women look at men, they look so peaceful, and nothing bothers them. They want men to be agitated, irritated, acting up, so they'll feel better about it. But the man is so simple in things, he almost seems dumb to an ego-driven woman. You know, how come I'm so frustrated and you're not? Why am I worried about things and you're not? How come I gotta pressure the kids to do things and you don't? And so that they don't know that there's a jealousy of his role with God. And the man didn't do that, God decided that. I was looking at a commercial today about, on TV, they were promoting this training program. There are a lot of women that get into training, workout training thing. And they were promoting a woman as a trainer, and these men were like under this woman being trained. I'm like, it's sad to see this attack upon man like that. It's a deliberate attack by the world to demasculate God. And the world is just letting it happen. And it's all around now. I'm on the airplane coming from Lancaster to New Jersey, 2 women flying the plane. I'm like, let me get off of here. I hope we don't have any air bubbles and
Rare.
I know. Okay, hello, passenger. Welcome on the flight. Linda and Mary are flying this plane today.
so they're probably fighter pilots, so you're in good hands.
As long as we don't have any air bubbles,
Why? What happens with the women in here?
they start screaming.
I don't think they will.
No, they're well trained. Yes, Forrest.
I don't know if you can answer this question because it's kind of political and it's probably, anyway, listen, I noticed that Barack Obama, our
You
president,
look jazzy today. Doesn't he look jazzy?
she dressed me.
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't. No, that's an idea.
No, but she, anyway.
Look like you're ready for the young women. You look like a guy that may be driving a sports car.
Right.
You know that.
Convertible.
And you don't drive a sports car, do you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he does.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It occurred to me that our president treats Republicans like bitter enemies, and he treats our enemies, he kisses up to our enemies, like Iran and some dangerous enemies. He's very nice to, and he sends them birth rate greetings and.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Call me on my show tomorrow and I can respond to that.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, how would Jesus treat our enemies and those enemies? Or a man of God, how would he treat our enemies?
He would be straight up and honest about them and not cater to them. He would not let them overtake him or his country or his family or anything. He wouldn't, he wouldn't cater. You can't cater to your enemies. You can't even cater to your enemies that live in your home. You know, if you're of good, you could be living with the enemy. And you have to be firm and straight up and honest with that enemy. You know what I mean? So, and that's what the truth is all about. The truth is about not hating, but dealing with. Being honest about. Not be blinded so that you can be overtaken. Because even in the home, those who serve evil will overtake you and destroy you. So if you're dealing with the enemy outside the home, you better be straight up and forward. Did that answer that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to give an example. Yesterday I was in a store and there was this little girl fussing about this. She was like 4 or 5, fussing about this makeup kit. And so I had my little dog, and so the mother or the sister, one of the two, was trying to distract her with the dog to get away the makeup kit away from her because they weren't going to buy it for her.
Right.
It worked for a while, then she started screaming and it didn't work. So finally, I just said, you know what? You don't need this. You're amazing the way you are. You're beautiful. God made you unique and beautiful. You don't need this makeup. She let me have it. She didn't scream.
Yeah.
And it wasn't out of judgment. It was just out of, you're so beautiful.
Being patient
Right.
and just dealing with it.
And the sister or mother said, wow, you let a stranger take her from you, but you don't let me. But
Because she doesn't respect her mother anymore. Her mother has irritated, agitated her, and driven them nuts already, so she doesn't respect her. Yes, Raymond. Then I want to read this email here. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll make it short. Speaking of how one deals with evil, this discussion reminds me of an old Boris Karloff horror movie I saw a couple of days ago called The Living Dead. In it, Karloff plays a person framed for murder and was electrocuted, but through a scientific method was brought back to life, and then he went toward the people who framed him for murder. But it's not what he did, how he acted. It's how the guilty reacted toward him.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Ultimately,
right.
they ended up destroying it themselves.
And they will. Absolutely. Good example, man. I got an email here from Paula Kingsbury, and she asked, if you can get stuck in the past, thinking it was a good time of your life, and how things may now be. How things may now be bad. How does one stop dwelling on the past if it was not good, hoping God will forgive? How do you know you are forgiven? Do you ever know, or does it matter? Did you guys understand that?
a lot.
You understood it? I heard somebody say something.
Weren't there several questions?
Yeah. So let's go to the first question. If you could get stuck in the past, thinking it was a good time of your life, and how things may now be bad, how does one stop dwelling on the past if it was not good? Anybody want to respond to that?
Yeah, I would like to respond.
Okay.
Just move on with the future.
Just move on to the future.
You can do about it. The past is over with. Tomorrow will come though.
Yeah, but if you, I'll come back to that. Let me just move on to the future. That's a very interesting statement. Yes.
I think from experience being stuck in the past, what worked for me was letting go and letting God and knowing, really submitting my ego and my plans and my desire and my will for God's will
Good point.
and letting it go.
Good point. Ted want to respond to it. If you could get stuck in the past, thinking it was a good time of your life and how things may now be bad, how does one stop dwelling on the past if it was not good? Do you dwell on the past?
I have the past come up a lot. I don't know if I'd use the word dwell, but yeah, I have realizations of.
I love this question. The more I think about it, the more I love it.
I have realizations of maybe it isn't. I don't know if it's dwelling or not. I just know I get realizations of past sins. I'll call it that. They come to mind, and I realize, it just makes me realize how to be honest, how very wicked I was, and they just come back. When they come back, it just comes back, and I just go on, But it seems like I'm always realizing.
How does one stop dwelling on the past if it was not good?
If the past was not good.
Yeah, how do you stop dwelling on it?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I can answer that question because I still have things from the past that come up
Okay.
for me.
Son, you want to respond?
I have gum. I still,
Do you dwell on the past?
sometimes, yeah. But when it comes up in my mind, I don't know what I do. Watch it and it just disappears. It fades. Because sometimes when you dwell in the past, it's like an imagination or something. Like you're having fun in the past.
Yeah.
Or it comes
Yeah.
up if somebody like says something to you and you think about how you used to be, you want that person to come back out of you or something like that.
Yeah.
But once I start dwelling on the past, all I do is, I don't know, I just kind of look at it and it just goes away, like within seconds, I don't know.
Okay.
That's what happens.
Rhonda, what causes, do you dwell on the past?
No.
You don't dwell on the past. And how do you not dwell on the past? What causes one to dwell on the past?
Well, for instance, that question was, I couldn't understand, did she say that the past was good at first or the past was bad? She said,
Yeah,
first,
she seemed to be saying it was good.
If you could get stuck in the past, thinking it was a good time of your life and how things may now be bad. So she thought the past was good and now things now appears to be bad. How does one stop dwelling on the past if it was not good?
right there she loses me, but just for myself, I know the past, there's nothing you can do about the past. The past is
I think what she's saying, I believe last Sunday I said that you shouldn't judge good or bad.
Right.
So she may have been thinking, well, that in the past, life was good.
right.
Now it's not good. How do I stop thinking about it being good in the past and now it's not good? So I think she's responding to that.
Because I realize if you keep your eyes somewhere else, and you can't make your present good if you keep looking at the past good. You know, you're gonna, wherever you are, wherever your focus is, that's what you're gonna do. So if you're looking in the past, then you're gonna mess up the future. You're gonna mess up your present right now. Today, all you have is today.
And when you say look, if your eyes are focused on the past, What do you mean your eyes are focused? How your eyes, are you like looking back this way?
Whatever. However you looking at it, however you see it, is what you see.
Hindsight.
If you're looking in the past.
But how
not
does one
literally,
look in the past?
It's not literal, but she's thinking in the past. So today she can't focus on what she can't see what to do in the moment.
Don't you just love this question? The more and more we discuss it, the more I love it. And we had a real good discussion about this last week, and I'm just surprised at the answers today. Mary want to put her hand down now. Yes, yes.
I wasn't here last week.
Oh, good.
However,
However,
I noticed myself, for instance, I was asked a question, and I wanted to say, well, in the past but then I said in the past, however, looking forward from now on, I can't go back.
repeat that again.
Well, I was asked the question the other day, and so I started to say, I always did this or I always did that. But I said, but instead, I stopped and I said, that was the past. But from now going forward,
Oh, okay. You stopped and said that.
Yes.
And did it work?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's all about, oh, I never could do that.
Right.
So now it's like, oh, well, that was then, this is now, you got to let that go in order to go forward.
I love this. Yes.
Yeah, speaking of myself, I noticed when,
This is about the past. Okay.
for myself, I noticed when I don't want to deal with the present, I always go back into the past at the times that things was decent.
Yes.
And at my age, all of my friends are damn near dead. My community I raised up in was bulldozed down, so it just wipes me out.
Yeah.
So basically with me, it's all about the present.
Yeah.
If I don't want something in there I don't want to deal with and it's really overwhelming me, then I'm going to slip back in the past, whether I'm meditating or not. Just that.
So, do you know what causes a person to get stuck in the past?
Because they don't want to really deal with the present. That's mine. They don't want to really deal with the present.
Oh, okay.
They're stuck in the past because what's in the past, whether it's good or bad, you're resenting something there, or you really want to escape back to the good part of it also.
Rankin, give me a short answer of what you think causes, because the time is running out. I need to respond to it. What do you think
People
causes?
escape in their minds and imaginations and in their thoughts.
Do you live in the past?
I don't, but I used to.
Okay. And what causes a person to get stuck? What caused you to get
Fear and
fear?
not having courage and not having faith. And so they cowardly go back to what they thought was simpler, but it was hell back then too. It's simpler than it is today, but they fall back to an easier time, a pleasant time in their minds.
Yes, ma'am.
They judge it as good or bad.
Yes, ma'am. They judge it as good or bad, and that decision about it is what causes them to get stuck. Forrest, I'm working with a young person right now who only problem is think that the past was better than the now. And they feel guilty about it because they said to me, I said, so what do you think got you tripping like this? Because I'm nothing now. In the past, I was this, that, I was good at this, I was well known, I was popular, everybody loved me, I had this going on, and now I don't have it going on. And because they judge that as good, they now hate themselves and they hate now. And that's what is keeping them locked in. What you know the person that's what I call it, not as you. It's not you, but but because and so by judging the past as good and famous and popular and smart, and those things are not happening right now, they can't move forward. They can't live the now and become the greatness that they could be now. So it's a decision making about the past that causes you to get locked into the past.
Judgment.
And that judgment. And that is of the devil, you playing God, and the devil replay that tape all the time. You're not like you used to be. You're not popular. Remember when you were young and beautiful. And then you hate that because you're the judger. Life is over for you. But if you don't make that decision that this moment is good, but just live the moment, you're ready for the next moment. You don't have to become an alcoholic or a drug addict because you have not made a decision about your life or anything in your life. That makes sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's what they did. I'm like, wow, that's deep. And what they're trying to do is get that life back. And if they don't get that back, they feel like they don't have a life anymore.
That's right.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
But it's come from that decision making, calling the path life good. This moment is good. The fact that you can overcome issues, the fact that you can see, the fact that God is guiding you is good.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Now it's different.
And it didn't happen yesterday, it happened then, just like now is happening. And then you can't run to the future because that's a setup too, because you've judged that the future is going to be better because the past is so bad now. And so the reason that this lady feels that, so when I say that there's no such thing as good, good or bad, only God knows that. You have to let him show you, but you live right now and don't make that decision because you will hang your life up. The devil used it against you. Because of ourselves, we don't know good, we don't know bad. Whatever this person was doing then, they were good this and they were good at that, they were smart in school, that was then. Enjoy it now, let it happen, and be ready for the next moment. Do not make a decision about it. So what gets you locked in the past is making a decision about now being bad or good. Because things are constantly changing in the earth. Nothing stays the same. And so if you're judging this good feeling moment as good, this popularity as good, then when that shut down, because it's going to change, it's not going to always be that way, now you got to deal with bad. You made a decision about bad. That makes sense?
Yes.
It's a decision about it. It's the mindset about it. The mind is a terrible thing to save. Oh yeah, I saw you first minute here. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm saying about, but like I understand what you're saying, but right now, where we are right now, we're in the middle between, it's like the go-between. Like everybody, wherever you are, you always at the middle between your past and your future. Like yesterday was your past, or 5 minutes, or 5 seconds ago was my past.
Right.
5 seconds ahead is my future.
But
so
see,
like she was saying, concentrate on your future because you will always be there on your future instead of concentrating on your past.
That's
if
the
you're concentrating
setup.
on your future and you set goals for yourself, you don't have to worry about the past because you're always looking at the future, so you can't see your past.
See, that's the setup that comes from the mind. Because the Bible says that there is no past.
Like you say.
Hold on a minute, let me answer.
The mind is the one that's thinking. You're thinking about your past. The past tries to come up to you and show you the past so you can think about your past. But if your mind thinks about your future, that's where you are, what you're thinking about.
Right.
It's not, what you're thinking about is where you are.
But that mindset is of your father, the devil, though. Because and he said,
don't want you to cheat
hold on.
The devil don't want you to have
Hold on, man, I got it.
cars
I'm in a
and
rush here. Hold on.
Okay.
The devil give you that mindset. Okay, this didn't work, so it's in the past. The future going to be better. When God said that there is no past or future, so it's an illusion that's being created by the imagination. That this is bad, so the past is bad. Tomorrow will be better. When there is no tomorrow, the tomorrow is an illusion. And only blind people live thinking that the tomorrow is going to be better than today. And then when you get to your tomorrow, it's even worse than yesterday. And you're really going to trip out because it didn't work out the way that you thought tomorrow would work out. It's all an illusion. All you have is now. And that's why God said, come in the presence of God. Come into my presence. I'm with you now. Everything else is an illusion. And your mindset, which is of the devil, will give you an illusion that tomorrow will be better. But if you can live in the now, in this present of God, there is no illusion. You deal with reality. And you don't judge reality. That makes sense? But you got to overcome that mindset. And the way you overcome that, you got to stop resenting. You got to stop being angry. Because resentful people are judgmental people. They're judging everything, including their own lives. You got to drop your resentment. Overcome evil. Stop playing God. And then enter into the kingdom so you can be guided by the light instead of by the darkness of your imagination.
What is God? God is truth. And truth is telling the people honesty.
Not in your head, though.
God has said, I am the truth, the light.
Right, but not in your
Telling
imagination.
people lies, that's not God.
Right.
Telling people the truth, that is God.
But God doesn't live in your past or your future. He's with you now. He's with you right now. He's not in the future. He's not in the past. Because there is no past or future, only in the imagination. For does that make sense that this person judged their past because they got a lot of attention at one point? They were the darling of everything at one point, and then that ended, and now they can't move forward because they judged that as being good. And so when they can't even face reality, that's why they escape. People escape in their uses of whatever. Because reality, when you come into reality, if you're a judgmental person, that ego is hurting because it's not getting the attention. It's not as bright and wonderful. People are not carrying on anymore about you. And you've judged that as being good. And when you come into reality and you see that you're no good, because life should not be based on what you do. Life should be based on the God you serve, who you are. You know what I'm saying? And so now in reality, people are not looking and paying attention anymore. You gotta get rid of that kind of pain so you become a sex addict, lying, whatever it takes. But you gotta stop making decisions about what's happening right now. You gotta just live your life. Then you won't go through this unnecessary pain. That's what locks people in, is making decisions. Judging as good or bad. I feel good, so this is good. I feel bad, so this is bad. People are paying me attention, this is good. I succeeded at this project. That was good. And now another project come along, I fail at it, I gotta go get drunk. Judgmental people are decision-making people, that's why they judge. They made the decision to judge. They decide, yes, sir. But anyway, to overcome this, you got to see it for yourself and know thyself, and then let go. Let it be. Don't try to resolve it because there's nothing you can do about it on your own. It's a spiritual battle. And to this person that wrote me the email, how does one stop dwelling on the past? You got to come out of your imagination. Don't think of it as being good or bad. Just enjoy the moment. Just be grateful in the moment. And don't judge it as good or bad. And it works out. It always works out for the good. One way to know that you've entered into the kingdom of within, you notice that you deal with life in a different manner. You're not up and down emotionally. You're not worried about things. You're not judging things. You deal with people. You don't judge people. You deal with life in a different manner when you come into what I'm talking about. So the way to overcome that is you got to let go of the thoughts about the past that seem to be good, and don't take no thought about the present. Just live it. Just observe it. So I encourage you to get a copy of my Be Still and Know CD at no cost, just shipping and handling. So it's a prayer CD that shows you how to calm down and let God take over your life, because He has to take over. These things, the things that have happened to me was because He did it. I didn't even know it existed. If I knew it as a kid, I forgot. But He caused it to happen. So get a copy of my Be Still and Know CD. And if you want counseling, you can also call me at the number below there, 800-411-BOND. We do counseling as well, by phone or in-house. Did it just help a little bit today?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And see how everybody had all these fancy answers that you got out the Bible? Yes? And they sound right, and they are, right what you're saying. But you got to understand, the Bible says, so as a man thinketh, so as he is. And then so if you're thinking these things are good, it's going to screw up your reality. It really will. You got to observe life, become an observer, and not a thinker, not the creator. You got to step back and watch life happen. Not try to create life, not try to make it happen. You have to observe it. All right? So what's going on, James? I thought we were out of time. I'm looking at you and the clock. We got 1 minute. Did this help run a little bit?
Very much.
Yeah, how about you? You had a question real fast. You got a minute.
Well, don't you think God brings up the past sometimes to show you something?
No,
You don't?
no. If he says, why would God bring up the past if he says that there is no past or future? God wants you to walk by the light. Do you think the sun not come up sometime so you can remember that, the light is there all the time shining within. And the past is of darkness of the father, the devil, and God doesn't want you to have to go through that. That's why he sent Christ. Thank you for tuning in, folks.